from Ollie Drab Garage. Just a little quick one this afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon. Quite muggy. We're kind of waiting for the storms and the rain that they've been talking about for days to come in, and they keep going south of us, so we're not getting any rain at the moment. But I feel a little bit guilty about not doing anything. I'm kind of fighting fatigue at the moment, you know. Bit of tiredness kicking in. I don't know whether it's old age or the weather, or just because we're just working all the time, and I just need a bit of a break on my weekends. And I'm feeling guilty because I had these plans of getting stuff done, but the stuff I wanted to get done I can't do because I haven't got the products, like letting the frame, letting the body for the grounding points, and I wanted to do some work on the Dodge frame, pulling the inside channel out, and I've got to cut the front cross member out and a few of those bits and pieces and fix them all up. But in order to do that, I needed to have a day that it wasn't basically stinking hot and sunny, which was what yesterday was. It was like 31 degrees or something Celsius. So it was just too hot to do that outside, and I don't have the product to do it anyway. And I wanted to buy Eastwood's rust encapsulator and the internal frame coating, and I want to see if they, I mean, I've been watching a lot of their videos and hearing a lot about how good they are as a product. They don't really sell it here. You can get a distributor, I think in Sydney, that sells the product. It's just crazy expensive, but it's more about convenience than anything. To get the Dodge frame, I mean, I'd have to pull it apart anyway because it's just so corroded on the insides, that if I was to go and get it put onto a tow truck or a trailer, the thing weighs a ton, and my driveway's, you know, like it's like that, hard enough trying to get the thing up the driveway, let alone trying to carry the frame by hand onto a trailer. Then I've got to take it down to the other side of the Gold Coast to go and get it sandblasted, and even then you wouldn't be able to get all the stuff that's on the inside of the frame anyway. So I'm thinking the best thing to do is to just cut all the rivets out of it. Most of them are just corroded. They look great on one side, and then on the other side there's like nothing there. So if you were to get some body flex in it, I can guarantee you the rivet's just going to go ping pong pang and disappear, and we're going to be back to square one, putting bolts into it. So what I was thinking of doing is I'm going to have to cut, grind and punch out the old rivets, and we'll get new metric bolts. It's just easier just to put it all back together again, and why wheel it and use the Eastwood product if we can get a hold of it. So this afternoon I'm going to muck around with this. I don't know if I'm going to do all of this today. This is one section of the hood, the side section, obviously, as you can see, of the Dodge, the WC-51 that we're working on, because we're jumping around doing stuff. And I'm going to do a little bit of wire wheeling on this, just to sort of clean up. I might just sort of hit one corner. I'm not really in the mood to be hitting the whole thing this afternoon, but I wanted to get in and get some bits pulled off so we can start pulling them apart, cleaning them up, and when we do get the rust encapsulator, we can hit it with on these parts. So these are the hood latches. Now let me just get my light situated here so I can show you just how crusty they are. Okay, so that's pretty much the way the whole truck is. So what I'm thinking is I'll reuse these because they're kind of not too bad. The spring's obviously buggered, but I think we can probably pick up a spring somewhere, and it's a matter of just taking out that cotter pin at the top. If you can see, there's a cotter pin there. Just getting that out, and it looks like a washer and a new spring, and I'm not sure what the bottom just looks like. It's just the spring on the body. Give it a wire wheel, put the rust encapsulator on it, and go from there. So that one's pretty crusty rusty. This one seems to be a little bit better condition, as you can see. still got that rust on the back. And I know when I hit that with a wire wheel, we're not going to get into it. We're not going to get the crap out of the pits, and if anything, we're just going to polish it, which isn't really going to stop it from rusting up again. So that's why I think it would be good to get the rust encapsulator product and have a go with that on these parts and see how we go. Another little thing I've noticed, I've got the 2 bolts here that are for the grounding, what would you call it, the grounding pad, the piece of metal that runs across the back here. I believe when you shut this down, there's supposed to be a ground wire that touches against this part that's connected to the splash guard, and it's like it sort of loops around and it rubs on the back of the metal plate, like a tappet plate, I suppose you could call it. And so you got these 2 bolts in here. Now, I believe in the old days and after the war, there used to be a Dodge nameplate here, and after 1942, the US government made it that the manufacturers can't put their branding on the equipment, so they took the Dodge off there. I'm not 100% that's true or not, probably is, tell me if I'm wrong or not, but that's what this part is here. So, and as you can see, these brackets were the ones that they came out of here, so you could lift your hood and whatnot. So that's there. So I'm going to take these out. The interesting thing about these is that this one here is an ATR, which is, I believe, ATR bolts were on the Willis MBs, and this one says T1035. So I don't know if that's a bolt that's significant to World War II vehicles or not, but it's kind of interesting. However, on the back side of these guys, they're pretty rotten. I'll get this torch up and I'll see if I can get the camera around and you can have a look. So bear with me for a second. Okay. So that's the back side of this tappet plate, and as you can see, the bolts are they're just gone. There's no saving them, which is pretty much how this truck is. There's just so much on it that's it's just so far gone. You just need to just get rid of bits and pieces and start all over again. So this thing, bear with me guys, I'll get this set up again without it being too high up. Yep. Okay, so this thing, should just done this. It's pretty crusty. Okay, so you can see, if I get this off again, you can see how crusty it is. Alright, it basically is it's pretty rotten. I don't think we're going to be able to use this. Obviously the rod for the hinge is it's gone long gone. On the back side, nah, I don't think so. See how we go when we clean it up. We'll do it over the next couple of days. But I was thinking, what I could do is, get that in there. What I could do is, just buy tubing that's that size and mark out and measure out where these are and just weld it on the back. I know it's not original, and if you look at it closely, you're probably going to see that it is welded, but I think that's probably going to be the easiest option to do in regards to this, because on the actual main hood itself, that this part is all gone. It's all pretty much corroded. So what I'm going to need to do is on the upper hood section, I'm going to have to cut along this section here and put new fresh metal, and then I may as well just put the tubes in here, and then that way I know the size of that tube, and I can also get a rod to go inside it, and we can go from there. Because for some reason this hood section, it's obviously it's a folded part of the panel. It's not like the center hood, which is a riveted section. So it's two parts that basically sort of fold. They're kind of rolled, a bit like the Jeep in a windscreen, where it's sort of curled in and they sort of curl over each other, kind of like that sort of thing, if it makes sense. They sort of like curl in like that sort of thing, and then they sort of hinge. Yeah. Okay. Sorry guys. So as I was saying, the hood on the hinge on the main hood is riveted, and it's a curved piece of metal, I believe, so it sort of hinges off itself like a butterfly wing, and then it runs hinges down each side. So that part you can buy, that's easy enough to get. But this part, they don't make this part even as a replacement piece where you can just simply cut it off, tack weld it in, and you've got a hinge that works. They don't have that part. So I'll have to figure out something to do with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, try and get these off. These are pretty much just going to snap off anyway, I can tell you right now. And yeah, we'll go from there and get them out, and I'll show you. And then I'm just basically going to hit this, probably, I don't know, I might hit this section here, just clean it up a bit with the wire wheel. It's just a simple brass wire wheel like this. And we'll go from there. Alright? Cheers guys. Cool guys. So, damn, I can never figure out where to put this damn thing. Alright, put this here. Okay, so got the backing plate off. As you can see, it's long gone. So I guess we'll have to try and fabricate something like that. Let's put these on back where they're supposed to go. And I've got the bolts out, as I knew they were pretty. They were corroded. They were gone, corroded, rusted. But interesting, yeah. ATR. See if you can see that better. Right there, guys. ATR on that one. And I don't know. Maybe it isn't a T. Looks like a bull. 1035, and it looks like a bull. Can you see that? That looks like a bull with horns. Okay, so these are the washers. Pretty much the whole Dodge is covered in these things. So internal, external washers, tooth washers. I found a lot of these on my body are pretty crap anyway. They're all just falling apart. So, I mean, as you can see, this one, it's just how crusty and rusty is that one. But at least I've got an idea of what I'm looking for. These things are also very hard to find in Australia. I haven't been able to find them anywhere. I found either internal or either external, but not ones that are both. I think Caterpillar might sell them. I'm guessing that would be an absolute fortune, of course. But it's interesting. We'll have a look and see what they come up with. So, anyway, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook into a bit of this and just get some work done on it, and I'll show you a little bit of the after results. We're just going to work over the next next couple of nights or so. As of tomorrow, I'll basically going to be up at 2:30 in the morning to shoot off to work. I've been moved from the Gold Coast up to Brisbane. A long story. Basically, because I won't go get the jab, and because I won't get the jab, I'm being punished by my boss for it. So he's decided he's going to send me off to Brisbane every day, which is twice the distance, twice the fuel. Send me off on these menial runs and menial jobs. Took my my truck off me, took my run off me. Basically took me away from all the guys I've been working on and working with, the gear they've been working on for 7 years here on the Gold Coast in my job that I do. So Friday was a really quite sad, depressing kind of day. A lot of guys that I work with, I consider these guys my workmates because I see them every day for 7 years. They can't understand why he's doing what he's doing. It just seems to be vindictive sort of behaviour. He's a bit of a lefty, and I'm a bit of a conservative, so we don't get along too well with these sorts of things. But anyway, that's my story, and so in the morning I'll be up at 2:30 and driving for an hour off to work, doing a 12-hour day, driving for an hour back. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a lot of stuff done this week, so I apologise for not having a lot of video content, but see what we can do. Anyway guys, I'm going to hook in, give this a bit of a wide wheel, and we'll see how we go. Righty gents, so we've done a little bit of work. We did one side, okay. As you can see, there's a lot of corrosion on it. I mean, there's a hole, okay, as you can see. We've got a hole here we're going to have to fix up, and there's another one just here, as you can see, and another one just here, just there, that we'll have to get into. You know, it is rough. It's not beautiful. There is rust on it. There is pitting on it. It's not perfect. So there's another little hole just up here. So I think what I'll need to do is I'll probably need to do some leading on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it like this tonight. I'm not going to put any primer on it tonight. And I'm going to hit this with the sander, because some of these bits like here, you can see. Okay, they need to be chipped away, sanded down a little bit. So there's some raised bits on it, and I just want to, like as you can see, you can kind of chip some of these bits away. So I want to have another little go at it. I've got to go upstairs now and have dinner and get ready for bed. Like I said, we've got to get up at 2:30 in the morning. So, but I mean, that's the other side. Okay. Dirty, crusty, rusty. I just got the inside edge of that. Okay, but I'll hit this one with the angle grinder, because my power drills just they're not strong enough. Yeah, I'll get it there, guys. So let's see, put that there. Alrighty. Turn this bugger around. So take that bugger off. Heck of a mess. But anyway, much better than what it was. as you can see, guys. It's pretty pitted, rusty. You know, it's not rubbish. It's still pretty good. I mean, where the hood bit goes through here, they're a bit rough on this side. I'll have a closer look at them tomorrow. Like, it looks like maybe this one here's got a hole in it, just here somewhere. But they seem okay. I don't know. We'll just have to get this rod out, give it a good clean, and we're going to get underneath the lipper here. I'm not sure if you can see up under here, this lip. Okay, it's just full of crud. Okay, so we'll get stuck into that, and yeah, we'll do that during the week and see if we can buy the rust encapsulator. Oh, freaking hell, it's hot. It is hot, guys. It's hot. It's steamy, and you know, we're waiting for storms, so anytime soon would be good. So we'll try rust encapsulator on this. I want to just have a bit more of a go at it, clean it up a little bit more. And I think what I'm going to do with these rivets is, because they're pretty well stuck in, okay, I think what I might do with these is when I get this done, what I'll do is I'll grind them down a little bit and I'll spot weld it in, because it'll kind of sit alright, and in that way we still get the original rivets on the outside. So gents, what we're going to do next pay, if we can, is try and get a leading kit, get stuck into some of this stuff and fill these holes, rust encapsulate, and then that'll be that done. Alright gents, that's it for tonight. So have a crack tomorrow night, see what we come up with. Anyway guys, sorry if I bored the heck out of you, and you know, hopefully you find some of it somewhat entertaining. It's of some way, shape or form, and maybe learning some stuff. I don't think anybody else is really doing what I'm doing with the bits and pieces on the Jeeps and the Dodge. So as you can see, jeez, crusty. Yeah guys, so as I said, you can see, oh, get back in there. Crusty. So we'll get into these guys, we'll pull them apart, we'll do this during the week. I'll try and source another spring. I mean, this one you can see it's broken. Even though it still works, it's broken, it's crusty. So we'll have a crack during the week, gents. See what we can come up with, and keep plodding on. Alright my friends, thanks for watching. Get out there, do a little bit of work on your Jeep, do a little bit of work on your trucks, get the old war horses back on the road. Keep safe, have a great week, and I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks guys, see ya.